going on, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Viall Files Freestyle Edition and my ex-girlfriend. No. Kaitlyn Bristowe is with us today. Yeah. I mean, I would say technically not, but...
That's a good point. Well, what would you call it? Technically...
I think you just got to run with exes. It's just simpler.
I call everybody that was on my season an ex-boyfriend just because it's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked about this with your current fiance on his show.
Oh, God, it's a weird world we live in.
But Rachel Lindsay even said, she was like, Nick, you're my favorite ex. Like,
I know,
you bonded over that.
But like, I don't think of them as exes in a way like I would someone I dated for an extended period of time.
It's like more like manufactured ex.
Yeah, like it's someone I have a past with.
Yeah.
You know, it's just different. Anyways, Kaitlyn, how's it going? Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Straight off the airplane, look like I came in on my skateboard.
Let's drink your wine.
Okay.
Let's cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Spade and Sparrow. Do you want to tell the people what we're
what
drinking?
Are these notes? What varietal?
Oh my gosh.
Talk about it.
That's what I try not to do. I'm like, I never want to make my wine snobby, so it's like it's just really good rosé.
Okay.
It's
refreshing.
And it's not too sweet, which I like because I don't like sweet wine, but it's not too dry. So people who like dry wine will love this. People who like sweet wine will love this.
Where can the people listening get Spade and Sparrows?
Oh, I know the answer.
You do?
So there's a website. It also is in select retailers like Walmart. I tried to call Walmart that was pretty far away to see if they had it because I wanted to buy a bottle for my sister. No one answered the phone, so I ended up having to ship it home to Minnesota. Gave it to her for Christmas. She saved it because she wanted to savor the moment of drinking Spade and Sparrows. So we waited until the day that she found her wedding dress, and then we drank it.
Wait, that's so special.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Kaitlyn.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sister's going to die.
Well,
she listens to this episode.
I will send you more wine just for that. Yeah, it's at over 175 Walmarts in California.
Good for you.
And we're trying really hard to get it in Target, which we've had phone calls in the last week. It's looking good. But spadeandsparrows.com.
Good for you.
Thanks.
Wow.
I really love it.
Put your hair up in a little dew scrunchie and sip your wine.
Mm-hmm. She gets it.
That's good. Yeah.
She gets it.
I did my recon.
You like it?
Yeah.
Oh, that wasn't very... You have it at home, don't you?
I don't drink I drink your wine that you sent me. Oh. No, I do like it. Yeah, you're right. The kind of sounded...
I was like, that wasn't
convincing. I went
convincing.
up. Actually, just watched a curve.
You went up like 8 octaves.
It's really good. Yeah.
That is very Larry David.
No, when I drink wine, which I drink a decent amount, I suppose.
Yeah.
I just don't see myself as someone who is an authority on wine.
Mm-hmm. You don't have to.
Like it's.
I don't know.
All right. I've never been like, oh, it's terrible. Take it away.
Oh, see, I have. I used to never be a snobby wine drinker. I'm still not a snobby wine drinker. I just now have, like, I can't handle cheap wine. It makes me sick. Like I get headaches and I feel like crap the next day.
Okay. And you don't get headaches from Spade and Sparrows.
You do not.
Love it.
Don't like take my word on that. If you get hungover, don't blame me or sue me.
Suzer. I drank 6 bottles and I feel like shit.
You liar. False advertising.
What's new?
Nothing. Wait, I don't know. I'm going to Canada for 2 weeks. I'm doing a little wine, women, and well-being. I'm a keynote speaker at a wine, women, and well-being conference, which is so funny to me that I'm a keynote speaker. I feel like
Have you ever been a keynote speaker?
I did a TED Talk once, which was pretty cool.
Can you get Nick in? Because I think he wants to give one.
We were talking, well, we were.
What would you do it on?
Apparently Dale also did a TED Talk.
Okay. Really?
At like a university, yeah.
And then I had to specify because Bachelor Nation's very sensitive.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not saying, I don't know what Dale talked about. I'm sure it was wonderful. But I said, it seems like at first TED Talks were like something you really aspired to. And then it seems like
everyone and their dog can do it now?
Yeah. And like since then they've had like people like who've done TED Talks have since like been arrested for fraud and other aspects. So it's not the shine, but again, I'm sure it was. I'd still want to do one.
This was 6 years ago, and mine was more like I didn't go up there with like.
Yeah, what was it about?
It was about television actually, and it was about like reality TV and how it's not that real and. Well, it is, but like it's not scripted. It's more manufactured. It was just kind of about why I went on the show. And I was just kind of honest about going on to like build a brand instead of going for love. And then it turned into falling in love. And I just it was more of a Q&A conversation. I didn't have to go out there and do like a whole presentation by myself. So it was nice. And when I look back and watch, I'm like, shit, I was well-spoken back in the day. What? I feel like I'm like stupider now.
I'm
or something.
getting dumber for sure.
No, I'm getting dumber.
Me in high school, great. I think ever since then,
same. Yeah. And I'm also not as funny anymore, and I'm blaming it on COVID. I'm like, what is COVID? Like
the brain fog.
The brain fog. I'm not as funny anymore. I don't have the wit that I used to have, or I'm just tired. I don't know.
You're definitely just as well spoken. You did great on After the Final Rose. As live. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you. And I was a little drunk too. Well, not.
No one would have known.
I mean, that adds up. I had a couple tequila shots to ease the nerves.
Do you think you're less funnier? And I can't have an opinion on that. But do you think that has more to do with the times that we're in?
Probably.
That everything we say, there's a level of, can I still say this? Like, are we?
That's true. I hold back more.
Yeah. We edit ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it's just
I don't like that. Well, it's better to edit yourself than to get fully canceled and be jobless, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's the time that we're living in, and it's just like the world is so dark right now, and I also feel like maybe I just don't try as hard. Maybe that's it. Maybe I just don't try as hard to be funny anymore. I used to try really hard.
You think so?
Yeah, I used to try because I loved making people laugh, and I used to try really hard to do that. Maybe I just
has anyone told you you're not as funny? Like, where's this coming from?
No, it's just in my brain. Like, I used to come up with the funniest ideas for Instagram stories, or back when Snapchat was a thing. Like, I was like, my brain just went to funny places, and now I'm more. I guess I'm maybe growing up.
Also, part of it too is just like it's just hard. You've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, maybe I'm just...
You're just like, I feel like I've already done that bit.
Yeah, that's true. You got to give it up for comedians because they got to come up with new bits all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thanks.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of people who will be DMing you and think, I still think you're the funniest person.
You're so funny.
I'm just fishing right now. Please tell me I'm funny.
Anything else you want to update on us? Something that we can get like a sort of Us Weekly, like media.
Well, she just talked to them about wedding.
Shit about someone? Yeah.
Do I want... Oh, I mean, there's 2 people in Nashville.
Who in Bachelor Nation are you inviting to your wedding?
Well, I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
We are the slowest people. And, of course, people are all in my DMs being like, Nick's going to grill you on wedding details and you better not say you're busy because that excuse is getting old. And I'm like...
Did they say I was going to grill you on wedding details?
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like something you would do. No. Nick's like, I couldn't care less.
I guess I'm supposed to ask, but...
Well, yeah, but that's the thing. I'm like, well, wedding questions naturally come up. I'm in the process of planning a wedding. This makes sense. But we suck. We suck at wedding planning, and we both just haven't even really tried that hard. We've done like little things, but that's it.
Do you think Sean is over your breakup yet?
That's a great question. I still to this day have not run into him in Nashville, and we've lived in the same city. Like, it's crazy. But through a friend of a friend, I heard that he finally said something like, yeah, I think I'm like, if I ran into her, I'd be fine. So.
You'd be nice.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
But unclear.
Unclear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do we have going on in Bachelor Nation, Allie?
What do we have going on?
Kaitlyn Bristowe was talking about her wedding details. I was going through... Oh, well, we saw Gabby and Rachel
Will any exes be at your wedding?
Are you asking about yourself?
Yeah. No, but like Ben Higgins, maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
For sure. I think a lot of you guys will be invited because we want to do a big wedding.
I'm not expecting an invite.
Well, we haven't got there yet. But
clear your New Year's Eve in case.
It's totally fine if you don't invite me.
I know that.
Yeah. But
I feel like I would like a lot of... familiar faces there that I've been through stuff with, and it would be fun. And you're a friend of ours.
Yeah. But also, like, not every friend gets to go to weddings.
That's true. I just haven't. I feel like I'm going to be cutthroat with the guest list, but Jason wants a big wedding, and I'm like, I don't know. Anyways, what was the Bachelor Nation news?
Oh, well,
Gabby and Rachel.
We just saw them at CMA Fest. They did like photos with fans and giveaways, and it was their kind of first big public appearance since wrapping their season. Yeah. Becca and Thomas were also there. And Serena and Joe were supposed to go, but only Serena went. But then Joe also tweeted something about being sick. So
God forbid.
Yeah.
They can't.
No, you can't do
just
something.
letting you know.
An independent woman in a relationship in Bachelor Nation?
Never.
No.
There must be problems in paradise.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. They're breaking up.
We got a new teaser for their season, and people, detectives have like paused it at this moment where you can see Rachel kissing a guy, and in her hand she has a rose. So people think that that guy was the first impression rose. They're like putting all this stuff together.
Don't you feel like if you ever want to solve like a murder in your life, you'll go to Bachelor Nation? Like they will.
If I go missing, I want like women on a true crime podcast to look for me.
Yeah.
Not the police.
I say this. There's pros and cons. Bachelor Nation is wildly dedicated and passionate. We love that. Their dedication sometimes can cause frustrations, but it's like we both, for better or worse, we probably both know that Bachelor Nation has done their due diligence on us.
Yeah. Yes.
And
it's
I guess,
true.
you know.
So I was at CMA Fest on one night, and I just want to applaud them for dealing with CMA Fest is bananas. Like, yes. And I went on Saturday night, and they were like, oh, we're in a suite. And I was like, so am I. And then we tried to meet up, and turned out they were on the other side. And then this morning, I'm in the Delta Lounge really early, and I look over and I see Amber Kniddle and Gabby. And I was like, oh, hey. And she looked just, this sounds awful, and I don't mean this to be mean. She just looked exhausted. Like she had just gone through CMA Fest for 3 days, which she had, and done like everything. They were just meeting everybody and going everywhere and doing everything. And I was just like, I just want to like tuck you in.
Yeah.
And like just tell her it's going to be okay.
Is there a little FOMO?
No.
No?
Okay, finish your sentence.
I mean, you knew what I was going to ask.
FOMO.
Not hosting.
Oh. I did not think that's where you're going. I thought you were going to say FOMO about like being the Bachelorette or something. Oh, gosh. I was like, absolutely not.
What, do you think I enjoyed my time as the Bachelorette?
Yeah, okay. No.
Do you have any FOMO? Especially like Gabby. I've never met her, but you two have the same energy. People have compared you two to kind of have that kind of snarky, playful energy. Is there a little bit of, that would have been fun to host that season and maybe connect, especially with two Bachelorettes. And being,
there's a lot of FOMO there.
There is a lot of FOMO there.
Yeah. My ego was bruised when I realized I wasn't doing any more hosting, because I felt like I deserved to like go on, especially if there's two Bachelorettes. And I just felt like I was in a good position. I'd proved myself. And I thought in my head, like when they gave me the call and said, and people were like, oh, Kaitlyn said she got blindsided. Maybe I did, but I did get a phone call. And they said, I'm sure you saw this coming. And I was like, no, I actually didn't, which makes it that much harder.
They said that?
Yeah. But
do you think it's because the people who run things there, and I mean really run it?
I know exactly why, yeah.
Do you think they have had a hard time seeing alumni as even options? Like they don't really take us seriously when it comes to that type of stuff, and it was almost kind of like reluctantly something they did rather than wanting to do. Yeah,
and I do like when I can like take my ego out of it and look at the situation, I'm like, okay, of course you want like a consistent host, somebody that's like all across the board, like professional, a host, like he can do the Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise. Like you want somebody consistent. I get that.
You don't think you could be consistent?
I think I could. I just don't.
You thought you were the right person for the job.
I think I still was able. I think they kind of probably looked at me at first like, oh, Kaitlyn, she's so crazy. And like, she's just going to get drunk and be an idiot. And then I was like, no, I can be professional and like really bring empathy and compassion to the show. Yeah. And I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I was just sad.
I've heard they were really impressed with your work ethic and your dedication to be good at the job.
That's really nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed it and I took it seriously. And it was so hard because
you stood out in that regard.
Well, thank you. It was hard to do it with two people, which at first I really enjoyed having, not that I never not enjoyed Tayshia there, but at first it was like kind of the same thing as when there was two Bachelorettes. At first I was like, I hate this, but doing media rounds and just not coming from a world of TV, like I was so nervous that it was nice to have somebody else there doing everything with me that I was like, oh, it's like a friend doing it with me. And that's how I felt doing hosting at first. And then at the end, it was like one of us could have done it.
Do you think, having done AFR by yourself, would you have loved a world where you could have felt like you really could have put your authentic stamp on it because you were maybe too self-conscious about sharing the spotlight rather than just
But I think I needed that to like, I don't know. By the end, I was like, I really actually had a great time doing it with Tayshia. And it was like fun. And at first I didn't see the longevity of it. And then by the end, when I had to do it by myself, I was like, oh crap, I really enjoy this and I could do this. And this is something that like I feel good about. But I can't, like, I get it. I don't think they trusted either one of us on our own.
It's too bad.
Yeah, it is. It's just too bad. But, you know, the other opportunities hopefully will come out of it. And
I'm sure they will.
Yeah. Like, it's my dream to host Dancing with the Stars. That would be my dream.
Oh, my God. You'd be so good at that.
Put it out there, yeah.
That's
on Disney+.
I know. Isn't that wild? What do you think about that?
That's the future, streaming stuff. Yeah. How network television shows translate to streaming, I think, is the big question. Like, is there a world in which also, like, Bachelor is just going to be on HBO Max?
Yeah, I think so.
Like, and if so, how will that change how it's viewed? Will it become more, less popular? I mean, it's just such a different.
Honestly, though, I feel like I've never, ever since I was in college and like as an adult, I've never paid for cable. Like, I just use all the apps anyways. So, like, to watch The Bachelor, to watch Dancing with the Stars, I have to go to the ABC app and, like, log in with my Xfinity.
But
so it's kind of a similar thing.
So many of the viewers that they, like, hang on to with Dancing with the Stars and Bachelor.
Is cable older. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I feel like once that is, like, kind of pushed out, then they'll go to the apps, I guess.
Yeah.
And Dancing with the Stars is going to be a great test to see what happens there.
Okay, I used Hungry Root before they ever got involved with the show.
That's true. I've watched her order it before.
I like it because they give you suggestions for recipes and they will like preload a bunch of awesome things into your cart, but you can always go through, customize, pick what you want, pick what you don't. They have the chickpea cookie dough, which sounds weird. It's amazing. It is so good. It's vegan and you can eat it raw. I eat it by the tubful. It is so delicious. They also have like a black bean brownie batter situation.
They put some like fig bars in mine, like for like, it's like a granola bar, but it also kind of tastes like a fig Newton that's like good for you. And I have those in the afternoons if I need a little snicky snack.
Well, if you are looking to eat a little healthier and you're a working professional like these two women are, think of Hungry Root. That's right. They are putting all the healthy ingredients into their bundle of goodness because, you don't have time for grocery shopping. That's
literally
crazy.
No. That's the last thing I want to do after a long day.
After a fun short quiz is all Hungry Root needs to get you going to help you meet your goals and have you enjoy your meals over and over again. Doesn't matter if you're gluten-free.
Yeah, I think that's part of the quiz, if I'm not mistaken, is you can put in gluten or dairy or anything that you're trying to avoid. Maybe you want to try out like a vegetarian palate.
Whatever those needs are. Great. Right now, Hungry Root is offering the Viall File listeners 30% off your first delivery and a free gift with every delivery. Just go to hungryroot.com/VIALL to get 30% off your first delivery and choose your free gift. That's hungryroot.com/VIALL. Don't forget to use our link so they know we sent you. Elton John, what a legend, an absolute legend, and what an interesting life this man had. It's so fascinating, and if you want to learn more about the legendary rock star that is Elton John, well, listen to Even the Rich. That's right, that wonderful podcast that pulls back the curtain on the rich and famous celebrities that you are so fascinated with. Join hosts Brooke and Aricia when they tell the story of Elton John before he was a global superstar. Elton was an awkward English boy from a fractured home, looking for an escape. From Wonder Even the Rich, Elton John Still Standing unveils how music transformed Elton to an icon that rocked the world through style and song. They unpack his life, his journey, how he was misunderstood, his neglected childhood, how he's a rock star. It's such a fascinating tale, and how he became such an icon both to everyone, especially people in the LGBTQ community. Anyway, so listen to Even the Rich, Elton John.
I want to know how he went from being a neglected, awkward schoolboy to being invited to both royal weddings.
There you go.
How do you do that?
Listen to Even the Rich on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you get your podcast. Or listen ad-free by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app. What else we got, Allie?
Well, Jesse Palmer, Wells, they're both in Mexico. Bachelor Nation, as you guys are saying, is really on it of who they're seeing at the airports, who's been spotted. Like, everyone's putting together who's there.
We don't Do we care about that?
I only do once it's airing.
Yeah.
I care once it's airing.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh snap.
Well, it's just like Genevieve.
What news do we have, Allie? Do we care?
I feel like we can all guess who's going to be
100%.
there.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple of random people, but
do you want to walk us through anything the viewers might have missed / gleaned from Becca and Thomas on Off the Vine?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I was actually just so cuted out by them. Like
they seem so happy.
They're so happy, and Becca has always just been this more like that was her problem with Garrett. She was just too progressive for him, and they were like completely on different pages. And her and Thomas are just he adores that in her, and he's like turned on by it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I have a question for you.
Yeah,
and this is all this is based off of Thomas. Who is your top? Give me maybe a top 5, top 3, depending on what you have. Who are your top 3 to 5 people who were the most misrepresented
on the show? Based on their edit.
Thomas is definitely one of them.
Thomas, yeah. That people, whether it's through social media or you met, and you're like, you're pretty fucking cool.
All of the people who got bad edits I've met, and I'm like, you're actually quite lovely.
But who are like?
Oh, well, now it's hard to think about who's been misunderstood on the show.
Has anyone had encounters with who am I trying to think? From Hannah's season, Hannah Brown's season.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh. I've never met him.
You know who I'm thinking of? The podium moment?
Yes.
I've heard he's a kind of a dick.
Okay.
Yeah, I heard that too, and I've never met him.
Luke
Pete. No.
Yeah.
It's just that he was, for me, the hiding behind God
oh my gosh.
element of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that wasn't all an edit. That was
him.
That was a lot of.
Give me some names of people.
Here's mine.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Thomas is in there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This is in no specific order.
Yeah.
Thomas, Anna Redmond.
Oh yeah.
I think
she's great.
She's hilarious.
She's always
TikTok.
on my TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah. She comes up
I've
on
never
mine all
met
the
her
time.
in person. I know she's dating Chris Bukowski,
Yes.
another person I'd put on that list who's just like a nice, solid guy who's obviously had his. I mean, he's been on it plenty of times. That it's a little different. Like when I say this, I mean like again, Anna had a brief time and got and granted, she might have fucked up. She might have did some shit, but obviously everything is made to be 10 times or 100 times worse in that world.
Yeah.
But she sure seems like an awfully fun, self-deprecating, humorous person, charming personality. Yeah. And I find her to be fascinating and interesting. I feel like she got a real bad beat.
Yeah. I forget what she even did or what was her whole...
She was the one who was like, she's had sexual relations for money or something.
Oh, yeah.
She's
money. That whole thing.
It was like, that's not the best. But she seems like an awful... I think...
I want to hang out with her, is what I'm getting at. Yeah. Like, she's someone that I watch on TikTok, and I'm like, you seem like you're right up my alley.
Yeah. We're like, all Bachelor Nation thinks they're like the worst person in the world. You're just like, they're pretty cool.
They could have made me look like, I always talk about this, they could have made me look like the worst person in the world because of my sense of humor when I was on the show. I could have been made out to be the biggest villain. I remember talking to Elon and being like, you guys can't air this, right? He was like, I wish. Like, what is coming out of your mouth is gold, but it was nasty, but it was
Yeah, there's a lot of things that definitely did not make
the
cut.
So then you got to keep that in mind when these people are getting these edits. I'm like, well, that could have been me, and she could be lovely.
I still want to meet Shanae.
Shanae. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, she seems like I wouldn't like her, but I could respect her brand.
I respect your brand. That's how I'm going to brush people off in a text.
I
respect your
brand. I tend to trust producers
Wish
on
you
this.
the
I don't
best.
know what you're thinking. Because I'll always ask producers, what do they really like? Do you like them?
Yeah.
And they like
love her.
They
Yeah.
love her.
Yeah. She's entertaining.
She gave him something to work with.
Yeah. She's entertaining.
Yeah, as a person, they like her.
Who was the villain on your season? Oh, Corinne.
Yeah, but she's well liked.
Oh, she is? Oh.
Overall? I mean, yeah, she was...
But she wasn't.
No, she was a star. She was the star.
Oh my God.
Season. She was the first
the
person...
napping?
She was the first person to make being... She wasn't really even the villain. She was the biggest star of my season.
Oh.
I mean, it wasn't until the whole Paradise debacle that caused, the whole new drinking rule and all those things.
I mean, you know this, but I didn't watch your season.
It's okay. Yeah. But yeah, she was.
I remember like not knowing who you were. They announced you as the Bachelor, and I was like, why are we pulling from the bowels of like I was like, who is this guy?
That's funny.
The bowels of.
I just felt like I hadn't seen you in so long, and I was like, why him?
You didn't watch Paradise? What the fuck?
I did. I've never seen Paradise until this last season.
Really?
This for you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Do you
so
wish you
good.
got to do Paradise as a kid? Oh no.
No.
Oh, I think.
No. I get really sweaty, and I just feel like I wouldn't be cute there. And
That's why it's fun.
Is it?
Yeah.
I could see how it would be fun, actually. I just don't think I am sad I didn't do it. Like, I don't feel like I missed out on Bachelor in Paradise.
Okay. Is that all we have for?
Yeah, it's kind of a slow week.
It's okay.
Slow week in the Bachelor news.
Did Thomas really call himself a trophy boy on your
He
podcast?
did.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify.
I'm not sure if he called himself one or asked if he was one.
Okay.
Here's what I've learned about Thomas, and I say this in the nicest way. He's a dork.
He's such a dork. I love dorks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just happens to be 6'5" and pretty good looking.
Yes.
And people are just like, it doesn't register. Like
Yeah.
you're not supposed to be a dork.
Yeah.
But he's kind of a dork.
Which is so great because Becca's such a dork deep down in her soul too.
Yeah.
And they're both just really good looking dorks
Yeah.
who found each other. And they work so well together.
yeah.
And he still wants to propose to her. It's not like oh my gosh, Becca.
I loved that they did that.
I love it.
I don't know.
I thought
Like,
it was
it's so cute.
I'm sad I didn't think to do that. I was like, yeah, I like that. I think it says a lot. It's like such a nice, flattering gesture for her to like.
Did you also catch the similarities of he was saying that he thought it was like a promo shoot for her wine? And then but you also, when you got proposed to, had like a wedding shoot later that day.
Yes.
So like both of you had like the photo element nailed.
Yeah, I feel like that is really easy to pull off in our world when you have to come up with like photo shoots all the time.
Yeah.
That you can just set it up like that.
Exactly. You're like, we'll be in full glam. Everything's fine.
Except I was not. I was in full glam from here up, and then I was in like a tied up shirt that says tequila for breakfast and like workout pants.
I feel like that more speaks to who you really are, though.
That's true. I wouldn't have wanted it any other way.
What else we got?
Last question for you.
Yeah.
Because you had said that you want to do a like Gatsby themed over the top wedding with champagne fountains.
Yeah.
Ooh, black tie.
Would you
Yeah.
do it with Spade and Sparrows? Like, would you just dump a bunch of Spade and Sparrows down from the top? Or does it have to be champagne?
No, it doesn't. No, I do want it to be champagne.
Okay.
I want it to be champagne, but Spade and Sparrows will obviously be at the wedding.
There we go.
Yeah, it will be served.
Yeah.
Bottle upon bottle upon bottle.
Yes.
What do you want like a theme? Like, have you even thought about like what?
Are you engaged?
No.
No, I'm just asking.
Do you guys talk about wedding stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
That's cute. She's lovely. I was not that I didn't think she was going to be, but I really enjoyed being around her.
Yeah, people really
She has
like
that
her.
effect on people.
Yeah. She's really easy to be around. Yeah.
She's a winner.
She just texted me earlier and she was like, "Are you guys recording right now?" And I was like, "Yes." And I was like, "Natalie Joy texted me." I was like, I nailed it.
She's a star.
Do we want to talk about Miss Amber Heard's
Oh, boy.
appearance? We've seen the teaser for her
Yeah,
big
this morning. Big
Today Show interview.
Oh, she did?
Yeah. What are your
I mean,
thoughts?
I did get deep in the trials. Like I was very much.
We very much did.
Yeah. It was just more like I was watching it for Johnny Depp's like commentary and his one-liners and his way of speaking. Like he just fascinates me, and I hope that he is telling he just had so many points to prove that I just was like, ooh, Amber just kept going down and down and looking worse and worse, and he just kept looking better and better, and it was one of those things that you couldn't stop watching.
Also, I loved your mega pint.
Oh, I got in trouble for that.
Oh.
In trouble? Why? Because you were mocking.
Yeah, because it was like mocking alcoholism or something. I'm like, but I have a
So
wine
when
brand.
you like, at what level because when you say you got in trouble for that?
Oh, from one person, I should clarify. It's just one human being.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Who
It's
gets
just
a lot of views.
we a public figure.
No, she just gets a lot of Bachelor people watching her stuff. I don't even know who it is. I couldn't even tell you who it was. It's like, I think it was a podcast.
I feel like we have to stop. I feel like we have to stop platforming critics.
Yes, I agree. I made
It's
this
like every
mistake,
time people like call someone out and then people respond to it, that's what makes
giving
it
them
the
credibility,
story.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I agree.
if it's one person disagreeing with your take or having a critique, that's fine. They can do that.
Yeah.
But I think we have to stop like acknowledging and like responding to every critique or criticism.
Because I used to never respond to anything. And it's like the more time that's gone on, the more it like affects me for some reason. You would think it would be the other way around.
No.
But I feel like now, I don't know. And I got really sensitive to that because my dad, I want to say was an alcoholic, but I think once you're an alcoholic, you're always an alcoholic because
I believe that's how it's referred to. Yeah.
Because I go to his AA birthdays and he always has to say, I'm Mike and I'm an alcoholic. And I'm always like, no, you're not. You're not anymore. But he's been 30 years sober. And so I talk to him about my wine brand and like stuff I do on social media or how much I drink. And I always ask if I'm being insensitive. And he's like, no, it's your humor. And like, you don't have a problem. And like, it really affects me when people are like, Kaitlyn's an alcoholic and she abuses alcohol and makes fun of alcoholism. And I'm like, oh, my sweet dad disagrees.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's just, everyone has a microphone.
As I'm drinking before noon.
Hey, it's fine.
Yeah. But
That was my idea.
our microphones are louder.
Yeah. So, yeah.
God, that was a weirdly synchronized laugh.
It was. We both like did this maniacal laugh.
So she's a lot of been talking about social media. And then she says how she doesn't blame the jury.
Yeah.
Which seems like a passive aggressive way of saying I blame the jury.
Yes.
It's like if you were to say, I don't, like your favorite team loses the game.
Yeah.
And then you say, I don't blame the refs, even though they don't know the rules.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
because
right.
the
You're
jury
just
was
contradicting-
instructed to not look at social media. And
Right.
we've heard from Amber's lawyer suggesting that that's impossible. Well, not necessarily. Like, they're not supposed to.
Right.
And it's very convenient to suggest that they must have. And it also, she is saying that social media played a role. Now, keep in mind, her team and her are talking about this trial as if, like, I understand that Johnny Depp has a lot of fans.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
But it's not as if every person who's watching this trial is some sort of like Pirates of the Caribbean
Right.
fan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've been paying close attention to this trial.
Yeah, I'm not a diehard Johnny Depp fan.
Yeah, I mean, like, fine.
And
you
I
know,
watched every minute.
And what I said like before is like I think the vitriol and the reaction from a lot of people, especially women and women who identify as domestic violence survivors.
Yeah.
Especially the women I've talked to, the women I know personally, women who listen to this show who have written in. It's that again. We all believed Amber when it all first came out years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was because of this trial and the information that came forward from this trial that affected our point of view. It's not like...
It was a lot of information.
Yeah. It wasn't some sort of like, you know, God, thank God, Jack Sparrow. You know, like we needed... But that's how they're talking to us in such a kind of condescending, passive-aggressive way and in suggesting that us, the audience, or the jury members have all been brainwashed by our fandom of Johnny Depp. And don't get me wrong, there are definitely some diehards, plenty of diehards, probably thousands and millions of Johnny Depp diehards.
Yeah.
But the collective people and the truly millions and tens of millions of people who closely watch this trial are people who like objectively tried to listen to both sides, most of which were women watching this trial, many of which were survivors of domestic violence who saw themselves in Johnny more than they saw themselves in Amber.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. That's it was I think it was probably really hard for people to watch at first because you wanted to root for Amber because you want her to feel heard and seen and like, gosh, if this is the truth, she's been through so much and you wanted to like her to get her justice and then just facts after facts and video and footage and information kept being thrown out there where you're like, oh my gosh, Johnny is a victim. Mm-hmm. And it's so, I found it so hard to speak up on the whole trial though, because I feel like I don't have the like knowledge and everything to like have
because it's
the best opinion.
It's such a complicated issue to begin with.
Yeah.
Like anything of like any sort of victim coming forward and there being two sides to the story.
Yeah.
But then you add in the complexity of like it being a defamation trial. So it really, like when we had a lawyer on to talk through everything, it's really was never about the abuse. It's about the defamation. And so like you add all those technicalities on top. So I think there was a lot of elements that people who didn't dive into exactly like what a defamation trial is and the different things you had to meet and what they had to prove.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, it was like, oh, well, yeah, she's lying, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, okay, well, it's not that simple.
I know. And now I heard she's getting a like redemption book deal.
Who, Amber Heard?
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. Didn't she say at the end of the trial that she just wants to live her life and move on and go forward? And I understand that the verdict didn't go the way she wanted, but like she accused Johnny of basically harassing her and bullying her and this whole thing, and yet he has essentially, we haven't heard from him.
Right.
And
do you think we will?
I mean, I don't probably. He posted a TikTok, kind of a thank you to his.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
He went on TikTok, but yeah, she seems to be the one not
going to just go move on and live her life.
Yeah, which it's just like she just keeps saying and doing things that just don't seem to add up. And Johnny's lawyers, one point they asked, like, why do you think it went your way?
Yeah.
And they made a point that I think resonated with a lot of people, is that, say what you want about Johnny Depp and some of these kind of very ugly texts that we read that he sent, and pretty kind of gross texts, but he owned up to those and acknowledged those. Mm-hmm. And he acknowledged some things that were probably hard to acknowledge.
Yeah.
And at no time did she ever acknowledge anything. There was no like, I did that.
I know.
Nothing. There was always some sort of like bizarre excuse and justification for everything. And I think as humans,
zero accountability.
It's you and I too. Like we've had our differences at times, but I think one thing that you and I have talked about too is that we have always been good at owning our shit and apologizing for things we've gone wrong.
Even if it took 3 years.
We've acknowledged. Well, I cut you some slack there because it was right after that relationship ended. Yeah. But nevertheless, like even before, not just you and I, even when you were the Bachelorette, you've never tried to be perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You've always been willing to be messy, and at times, I think with people, and I've experienced this too. Ashley I is another person I say this to. It's just like, at first we get criticism for that because we don't come across as polished or whatever. Right. But over time it works out because people then realize that I trust who this person is because they've consistently been this.
Yes.
X, Y, and Z. And I think people in general build trust by, for better or worse, being consistent with who they are. And I think that's 100%. Another reason why people are struggling with believing Amber, is because there's a lack of consistency with the person she portrays herself to be and what you see. And then you just start, and she's not the only one you see in the public eye. We struggle with seeing that. And I think it's a willingness to sometimes take your lumps and take some criticism.
Because people can all relate to messy. Everyone can, whether they want to admit it or not. And it is just so like I think it would have been so different. The ending, the outcome wouldn't have been different, but I think people would have had more empathy for her if she really just took any kind of accountability during that whole thing. There wasn't one moment, like you said, where she just admitted to being messy and saying verbally abusive things.
She's like, I pooped on his mattress,
It was a Tuesday. It's what we did then. It was just so bizarre to watch. Like, and that's the word that kept coming to mind when I was watching. I was like, this is just so bizarre. Her behavior seemed bizarre to me.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things. I don't think we were planning on not talking about it anymore, but now she's out there. She's doing press. She's giving us more to respond to. Is she getting paid for this press? Did she get paid for that, or is this more? I doubt it. It's to Today's show. Today show. Like, I mean, unless they made some sort of special arrangement, usually that stuff is not paid. It would be a bad look, I think. Also, if it was found out she got paid to do it, don't you think? Well,
her lawyer said she couldn't pay it, so she's got to start earning.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Isn't she like?
But she's still like flying PJs and renting $25,000 a month houses.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
Maybe that's why you can't afford it.
Yeah.
She used to be my like ultimate girl crush too. Like, I'm trying to remember the movie she was in, but I'm blanking. But like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
She was, and now I'm like, oh.
Gotta find a new one.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Did you guys see that Pete Davidson and Kim are on vacation?
Yeah, and they dyed their hair the same color.
Oh my god! If you would have asked me, are they gonna be in a real relationship? I would have said absolutely no.
Am I an asshole that I don't think it's going to last?
No.
But they've been together for a long time.
What's a long time?
I don't know. In my standards.
So you also don't think it's going to last?
You think that's
You're
a long
like,
time.
because they've been together for 4 months and they've been together forever.
They've literally been together for just a few months. That's so cute.
Felt long to me.
I am not surprised by any relationship ending. So you're not an asshole for saying that. You're just saying the probably obvious.
What's something that you and Jason have to prioritize working on? That's something like, hey, like something maybe it's something you've thought about, or something you realize your personalities have found something that you don't always see eye to eye, that you have to actively both kind of come to some sort of compromise?
I think there's a few things. Oversharing, I think, is one. I think he's like...
He would prefer you not to overshare. Yeah. I also weirdly... I can be guilty of that too.
Well, it's just, it's part of who we are. And we have, Jason's podcast is obviously like, it's based on like one certain thing. It's like money and finances and how did you get here and blah, blah. Where ours is kind of like talking about like life and things we've gone through or having an opinion. And he just does it about his podcast is he knows what he's talking about. Or I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about today. Or we'll just see what comes out of my mouth after a few glasses of wine.
Hell yeah.
And I think he's definitely gotten better at accepting that. At first, it was like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work because he just wants everything a little more private. Now he's like, classic Kaitlyn. That's probably one thing. But we both, this is something we talked about on Sean Johnson and Andrew's podcast, is that we both prioritize our work so much and we're both so independent and like to the point where we actually have to sit down and be like, oh, we have not made time for each other. And like, that's been okay with us when that shouldn't be okay. And that's the both of us.
Yeah.
So it's not like that we disagree on that. That's just something that we have to like
make a conscious choice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Also, something last time I went on Jason's podcast and him and I grabbed lunch, something I noticed because he kind of made a comment like that, and I noted it because I was impressed by it, because to me it told me that I think sometimes we're afraid to even acknowledge that there are things about our partners that aren't our favorite or that or that they're just human.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we like to like oversell things, and the way Jason talked about you, to me it said it's like he really accepted who you were, for better or worse,
right.
And mostly obviously for the better. But I it seemed like he, like when someone really accepts the person, that that's a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
Because we've both been in, I think, relationships where it's like you love someone, you love each other, but you're like, I don't know if you really love everything about me, or not like everything, but I don't know if you accept everything about me.
You love me, but you don't like me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seemed like Jason really liked you, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I know it sounds weird to say,
what I'm saying? But that's a thing that we take for granted. Not everyone really likes their partner over time.
Yes, because you can fall in love and you can be in love and you can genuinely love the person, but after time, sometimes people are just like, I just don't like you anymore. Like, but you've been through so much with them that you like love them deep down, but you don't like them
and you stay
anymore.
together because you've been together for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of for better or for worse, Britney Spears is now married.
Oh my God.
What a wedding.
What a wedding. And they're like, what a guest list too. Like so many people there. So I wanted to ask, I was like, if you guys could have one person, like celebrity.
Well, yeah, because like Britney
public
Spears,
figures, like who would you invite to your wedding?
She invited Selena Gomez, who she had never met.
She'd never met her?
No. And I love that because Britney Spears is like, I'm Britney Spears. I'm like, I can kind of invite anyone in the world, and I have a pretty decent chance of them showing up.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, even maybe the Pope might be like, I don't know. Like,
Francis is like in the middle of the dance floor, like ready to go.
You know, like maybe he's like, it's Toxic fan. You know, I'm like Toxic. You know, I don't know.
But do you think Britney Spears knows like she's Britney Spears?
Yes.
Okay, because she had said on an Instagram post recently that she was like, oh, sometimes I just have to sit back. Or she goes, I sat back at my own wedding and realized who I was. And I was like,
well, I think that just means she has humility.
Yeah.
And she doesn't walk around every day like I'm fucking Britney Spears.
Yeah. See, I would have.
But I think she also recognizes that I can invite people I'm fans of who I've never met.
True.
And they might show up, you know?
100%. Oh my gosh, Selena Gomez getting that invite was probably like so honored.
Oh my God.
You know how Mila Kunis and Ashton watch The Bachelor?
I think they would go to your wedding.
They were at the F1 party, and they were like, it's so nice to meet you. And I was like, me? And I was like, yeah, they're coming to my wedding. Mila's in my bridal party.
I believe, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
They are huge Bachelor fans.
Huge. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It was a moment I definitely soaked in for far too long.
Why did Britney Spears' ex show
God
up?
only
Do we
knows.
know
Wait,
why?
what?
God only knows. Yeah.
Why do I not know?
Her ex-husband crashed the wedding, got like arrested.
Well, because they had a restraint. I thought they had a restraining
Kevin
order
Federline?
against him.
Which
no,
ex?
She never married Kev.
Oh.
I don't think.
Britney.
But no, her first husband, who I forgot about.
The Vegas wedding?
I forgot his name, but I did recognize his face when they showed a picture. I'm like, oh yeah, she did marry that guy.
Jared? No. Am I wrong?
Jason Alexander. They were married for about 55 hours in 2004.
Yes.
Um,
He crashed her wedding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was arrested and charged with trespassing and battery after crashing her wedding.
What a great way of reminding people you didn't win the breakup.
That's just embarrassing because what did you think was going to happen? Wait, did you guys see the video about all of them like singing Vogue? And it was like people were like, this is so cringe. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I have that on repeat. It's like my alarm when I wake up. You didn't see that?
Britney Spears could do whatever she wanted. Like, I don't
Anything.
care what she had like a little Cinderella shoe. I'm
Oh my
like,
gosh. And her little choker
Well, I'm
necklace.
still a big believer that secondhand embarrassment is not a real thing.
Really? I get it all the time for people.
I get it about myself sometimes. I think back to things I'd said.
You're going to hate what I say next.
Okay. I'm scared.
Because I think secondhand embarrassment, meaning you feel it, is a reflection of you. And it's a reminder that while it would embarrass you, not them. So it's an insecurity you have about a situation they're doing. But that person doing it is confident about what they're doing. They might not feel embarrassment, and your embarrassment is a you problem, not a them problem.
I
So
get what
like
you're
your
saying.
embarrassment you feel is embarrassment for yourself that you couldn't handle that situation.
I'm going to disagree with you on this because I see where you're coming from. And I don't get secondhand embarrassment for someone if they feel confident in what they're doing. It's more of if someone like trips and falls on their face, I get secondhand embarrassment. Or if like it's not. I like when people have confidence to do anything. I feel like it's more of like if somebody did something that they're embarrassed about.
If they're
I
if
get
they're like
embarrassed
I'm
for them.
embarrassed and they say I'm embarrassed, then I
That's-
think you can have secondhand embarrassment for them. But you can't say I'm so embarrassed for this person.
Okay, I guess
and
I
that
don't
happens. Like
disagree
you
with
see
you.
that a lot on the internet. Like I'm so embarrassed for this person. Be like
why? They're not.
Yeah.
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 They're
okay, I see where
thriving.
you're coming from.
Yeah.
I
I think that's an important distinction, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, if someone's out there saying I'm embarrassed, then yeah.
I was telling Gabby at CMA Fest, I was like, I have like when she had to go out again, I said, I have secondhand anxiety for you because I would be anxious in that position. So I get where you're coming from and it makes sense.
Yeah, and that was you like having PTSD about
Yes.
knowing
That was a me
anxiety.
problem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Geico must pay a Missouri woman $5.2 million after she caught HPV from unprotected sex with her then boyfriend in his insured automobile.
I'm going to need you to read that one more time.
Geico must pay a Missouri woman $5.2 million
How is it that much?
after she
Yeah.
caught HPV from unprotected sex. I have a couple questions.
I have so many
I have
questions.
so
I was under the impression that women can test for HPV, but like it's hard to know who you got it from
can't.
since so many people have it. That how are they able to prove that this person was in fact,
unless she didn't have it and then has the records, and then after
short of her being like a virgin or knowing.
But she could have done like a panel, like a blood test panel beforehand, and she could have done one again after.
But how do we know
And also, like, how did she know that he had it?
And also,
if he was the only person she slept with in between testing.
Can you even test for? Can you Google this? Can men test for HPV? I was under the impression that.
That's a good question.
That they couldn't.
Why 5.2 million? How
no,
does that...
there is currently no approved test for HPV in men.
See?
Yeah.
So how can they even prove that he gave it to her?
I hate that. Fuck that.
Yeah,
this is the new
so
McDonald's
we're just stuck with it?
Cup of coffee?
Yeah, the burn.
Yeah, $5.2 million.
Why does she need that much?
Would you get HPV for $5.2 million?
I mean, what are the symptoms?
I know. What is it?
Well, it's my understanding. Well, technically it's where genital warts derives from, but there's also
I don't think you.
Most people with HPV don't have any symptoms.
Yeah, most people. Then there's so many different strands.
Does it affect your
you can
ability
get cervical
to
cancer
have
from it?
Okay, yes. Yeah, so,
but there's also cures now. They have it's highly treatable now.
My search history is screwed.
yeah, that's my Google history is.
There's
very
no cure for
podcasting.
HPV, no matter what gender you are. However, with regular testing, your nurse or doctor can find abnormal cells in your cervix and treat them before they turn into cancer. And most HPV infections go away on their own and don't cause any serious health problems.
I mean, $5.2 million.
So would you take the risk for 5.2 mil?
That is such a great question. No.
This doesn't seem right.
I actually wouldn't if I really put my
I'm
logical
nervous.
brain on the spot here. No, because what if I did get cervical cancer, or what if I couldn't have babies or something, and then I'm like, cool, but I have $5 million. Like, that's not worth it.
Yeah, that's a.
And also, like, most men can't get tested for it, so they don't know if they have it.
So they're just out here spreading it without any ramifications? That's rude.
Also,
I'm enraged.
I thought you were doing like a Geico ad. I was like, wow, okay, we're doing that. Going right into a Geico ad.
Well, I thought about
We
that.
wanted you to be here for an ad read.
Sounds like Geico won't be sponsoring this podcast anytime soon, but State Farm might give us a call.
Oh my God. Wait, Geico was an ad on mine for a while, but not anymore.
I have Geico.
Oh.
Who knew they would pay me so much money?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I mean, I feel like they shouldn't have had to pay for that. This seems like
that has nothing to do with the car.
Yeah, that
has nothing to do with the insurance.
I didn't even think about that part. Geico.
How is Geico responsible for that?
Why?
I don't know.
Because it happened in the car. That was the car itself was insured, and they had sex in the car.
Well, it's like one of those like home insurance.
So if I get HPV in my home,
no, well, yeah, like
yeah.
Well, if you come over to my house and let's say you trip and fall at my house, regardless of whether it's my fault or not, you could get my home insurance to pay for your medical bills.
That's my parents used to make kids sign waivers before they jumped on my trampoline.
Yeah. No, yeah, sure.
That's awesome.
100%.
Yeah.
Like my friend's parents got rid of the trampoline because they're like, we don't want to ask everyone to sign.
Yeah. But it makes
Should we
sense.
take all this wit and knowledge and help someone out?
Time for texting office hours?
Maybe it's the woman from the car.
Let's do it. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good.
Good. I am Sarah. I'm 29. I reside in South Dakota, and I am just needing some help figuring out exactly where I stand with a guy that I've had some history with.
Okay. And then what's the goal of the text that you want to send?
I mean, really the goal is ultimately just to know, I determined that I do like this person. I think that there's a liking back, but I think at this point to determine just where we're at. I mean, really, that's just kind of what it's been. It's been a few months that we've been talking, and I really just kind of am wanting to get there without trying to be too pushy or intrusive. I want to play it cool, but I also kind of want to put myself out there and make sure I'm not wasting my time.
Okay. Give us a little background about this relationship.
Okay. I got a promotion at my job last November, which
Congrats.
Required some training. And so we did some Zoom training. He actually works for my same company. However, he resides on the other side of the country. And so as part of our region, we go out there. I went out individually for training for 3 nights. And every night he took me out to dinner or to go by the ocean, to the beach, things like that. And it was a great time. Casual texting when I returned. Later, my whole team for work had to go back out there for a work event. And he was there again. Again, very interested, kind of hung around me the whole time, really showed interest in getting to know me and just kind of spend that time together, and continuous texting. And he has asked me to come visit him. Really like him. He's very highly thought of within my company. He's a hard worker, down to earth person, super calm and understanding as far as what I'm getting. He's the same age, 29. Just bought his own home. And so, I'm in the same boat. I live here. I own my own home. We're both kind of set in our ways. However, I think we both are at the point we're looking for something a little more serious. Obviously, the distance thing takes a play. However, at this point, I've exhausted many options locally. And I just think that it's something I would be really frustrated with if I didn't pursue. So I'm trying to send that text where it's, like I said, I figured out I like you, and I just kind of want to feel how maybe you're feeling. Again, at this point, it's more or less not that we need to date necessarily. It's the fact that, like, should I be not seeking other people and kind of just remain true to you?
Okay. Did you guys hook up right away?
We did. Yeah. The first time I was there, we had spent 2 nights just together. The third night, we did. And then when I went back again, he stayed at my hotel also.
And how do you feel about the state of the relationship now in terms of like the consistency? Is it still pretty ongoing or consistent, or
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, we text every day. It's very here and there. I mean, hours go by,
Sure.
that type of thing. We're both busy with our line of work and things like that. And again, it's not something I need you texting me 24/7. But I think as far as conversations go, very light. They flow very easily. It's not like it's something we're having to pick at. And again, he's invited me out there just a couple of times actually. And the first time it didn't work. And now this time we're actually actively trying to plan something. But that's another concern, is what do I do when I get out there? Is this a conversation I want to have prior to being in person? Or is it just something I'm ready to just put myself out there, buy a plane ticket and say it to your face type of thing? But why, the other thing too is, why would I want to go out there if I don't really even know how you're feeling or what you're feeling? Or if I don't go out there for a whole nother month, are you going to bars with girls, and are you doing other things where maybe here I'm just sitting and waiting and not on that same page with
your options locally? That was my favorite line that anyone's ever said. I've exhausted my options locally. But so does he know where you stand and you don't know where he stands, or is you both just haven't really gone there?
It sounds like she wants to let him know where she stands.
Okay.
Sounds like, and then subsequently find out where he stands.
Probably more like where my thought is. Yeah, because again, I want obviously for you to match my energy and where I'm at too, because if it's not, that's okay. I can walk away and just remain friends or however it is and see you at work events. But the other aspect too is, some of the things that are said, are you inviting me to come to your home? Like, those are just things that I just don't think as a friend are being done. And so I think the way he talks and wants to be involved with me shows that the feelings are there. But again, even after that first hookup, which was months ago, none of it was ever really addressed. You know what I mean? We never talked about like, oh, like we hooked up, like, does this mean something? Or is it just like a casual thing? Like, it was just kind of shied away from.
So just, I want to recap. So you met him at a work of basically training or whatever.
Yep.
You guys hooked up. You went on a few times. You saw him one other time at another work trip. Since then, he has asked for you to come out. You haven't gone yet. You're thinking about going out, but in the meantime, you know that you are interested in exploring this relationship and you want to make that clear to him. That's where we're at.
Yes.
And you're not sure whether you should send it a text now, a FaceTime, wait till you go, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm at too, is, a lot of things. I think girls are trying to put this stigma out there that they don't want to come off as crazy or too pushy. But I mean, I'm 29 years old and I'm really to the point where I can have adult conversations. And I would much rather do that rather than wasting my time, and figuring out this scenario in my head, like, oh, I know he likes me the same way I do. And then that definitely just falls apart. That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Yeah. Let's before we give any, I have like an answer based off the information you gave me, but let's do maybe a dramatic read first and read your text message that you sent, if that's okay with you.
Okay.
He said, "Oh, congrats. It's been painful, but starting to be worth it. It's a cool 100 degrees right now. Thumbs up."
Okay, like, stop. It was just 52 degrees on my way home. That looks amazing. Is that the new house?
Yep, it's the new place. It's hot, but I enjoy the heat.
This guy likes weather talk.
As long as I have water and some AC, I'm good. Low maintenance man.
What is he, a dog? You need to leave the radio on for him while you go too?
That's why I'm saying you have to come out! Exclamation point.
You already know I'll come. I just need to know when you're available to keep me entertained.
Pretty much any weekend. Haha. And you could even bring your laptop if you wanted to make it an extra day or two. We will just have to plan it out. Oh, interesting that he's already open to you extending the trip.
Yeah, that is. I noticed that too.
Because usually it's more like,
we'll see how
about you come for like 24 hours and then we'll like,
yeah,
just enough time to have some sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boink and buy.
Okay, I'll take a look at some flights tomorrow and give you a few options.
Yeah, sounds good.
This is about a week later.
A week later. Was there any other communication going on in between? Or?
Yeah, so there is. Like I said, we do talk daily, but I would say exchanges are like 3 to 4 texts probably a day. Like that's how much.
Okay.
Like,
are you guys FaceTiming at all?
No.
Really?
Interesting. All right. So anyways, he says at least stay on the West Coast so you don't have to worry about being killed by weather 9's month of the year.
A lot of weather. Kaitlyn was
lot
right.
of weather talk. Okay. Haha, that's a valid point. I'm just used to it by now. Lol. Did you decide to head back to Cali tonight?
Yep. Just left 30 minutes ago. Should be there in a few hours. You all ready to go? Okay, thank you.
Nice. Yeah, all packed and ready to just be there already. LOL. At least I have a direct flight this time.
Are you talking about flying out to him or flying out somewhere else?
That was when I was flying out there for the work event.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Let me know when you guys make it to the OC. Make it to OC.
I'm officially in OC, just on the way to the hotel.
Nice. I have a feeling I'm never going to be able
to get out of here.
Yeah,
LOL.
Cut off. You say, kind of. I found out last night that my grandpa's cancer spread to his bones and they don't know how much time he has left. So this morning I was kind of a mess and went to the office to get my laptop to work from home, but I ended up staying there until this afternoon and then got home and worked more. I guess I kind of got a lot done, but it was a hard day. Oh, sorry.
OMG, I'm so sorry. Frown emoji face. I'm always here if you ever need to just talk or anything. I'll keep him in my thoughts and prayers.
So that was yesterday.
Yesterday.
See, I would have called you immediately to see if you're okay.
But
I'm also not him.
I think it's okay that he didn't do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't offended by any means. And the fact that he said thoughts and prayers, I'm a religious person. So that meant a lot to me. Yeah. And just his response in general, I was some people would just be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that type thing. I feel like he went in detail. But the little snippet.
Him just letting you know that he's there to listen. Talk. Yeah. I thought it was,
Wait, how long has it been since you guys first hooked up?
It was the end of March. So almost 3 months.
Okay.
Here's what I think. I get your logic about I don't want to waste my time and fly out there if it's not going to be a thing. I think it's never a bad time to just let someone you like them. So if you really want to do that, I don't think that's bad. However, I do think you might be. It's hard to do it in a way that might not make him feel a pressure to say the thing he thinks you might want him to say, knowing that there's a good chance he might not feel like he knows enough about you to say that he wants to make a long distance relationship thing work. Right.
Well, in all fairness, I feel the same way. Yeah. I mean, the times I've gone out there, it's this exciting thing. I'm on vacation and it's so much fun and it's beautiful and that type of thing. And I don't want this hype of us knowing each other to just be this super high road. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I don't know him enough either. But again, I think it's to the point where I know enough about the person that you are to want to invest and get to know you. You know what
totally.
I mean? Whereas
but him not feeling that way exactly as you doesn't mean he doesn't like you and doesn't mean he this could be something great, right? You've also acknowledged that being in South Dakota, you've felt like you've exhausted your options. He's living in a maybe more populated part of the country and he feels there are more options, and people who feel like they have more options are a little bit more less committal, where you might be feeling fuck it, why not give this guy a shot? It's the best thing I've enjoyed in the past 6 to 12 months. I don't know. So I guess what I'm saying is like, what's the downside? If the worst thing that happens is you fly out to see him and you guys don't end up dating, maybe you have a fun week and some good sex, whatever. But like, I think you might be running the risk of applying a little bit too much pressure on the situation with like just putting it out on the table. In the meantime, since you are only texting, I think throwing out, hey, how about we have like a FaceTime date on Friday?
Yeah.
You know, we'll pour out some wine. Maybe we'll put on our favorite movie we both seen. I don't know, whatever the fuck. You talk about whatever. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like you make it a date, right? You're like, I like talking to you. Is it, you know, and you could say like, I don't know if this sounds weird, but like, do you want to have like a FaceTime date? Because like, I like talking with you and until I get to see you, and just focus on making it like a date, like any other date. Like, don't think about you wanting to let him know that you like him. In fact, what you should do on any early date is to like say, you know what, I think I like him. I want to tell him I like him, but I'm just going to take this date at face value and I want to learn more about him, because you might find that you don't like him. He might say something weird or something. Right. I don't know. So it sounds like there's more things you can do in between them to get to know him and build that rapport, so that if you do fly out there, at the end of the weekend, you can decide for yourself if you still feel the way you do now. And if you do, then I highly suggest that you, before you go, at the end of your trip, right before like he's about to take you to the airport, you just say exactly what you think. And that is, I want to tell you something. I don't even need you to respond. You can think about it for a while, but I really enjoyed my time with you. I like you, and I know long distance, and I'm not saying we should like be in the serious thing, but I do know I like you, and I'd like to like see where this goes. And and if you're interested, let me know, because I think there's something here and I think it's cool, and we can go from there. And you don't even ask, what are we or what this, you just tell him that, and then you get on your flight, and then you let him know that no matter what he decides, you're going to be totally fine.
Yeah.
I
love that.
I feel like you guys are on the same page. Like from what I'm getting at, or gathering, is that you two are actually pretty much on the same page. Like you're like, yeah, I'm taking it for what it is, and he's taking it, and you both like each other, and you want to see each other. But I think what guys like is, and Nick, please tell me if I'm wrong. They like to know that you want to know what they're thinking, not how they're feeling. So like instead of being like, how do you feel? You ask like what he's thinking about it. Guys just don't like to be asked how they feel. They like to be appreciated for their thoughts. Like, what do you think about this, instead of how are you feeling about this? Women like feelings. Guys like their thoughts.
I never thought of it that way, and I think that makes a lot of sense. But I also think it goes like, also you just telling him what you're thinking. Like, it allows you to keep your power, so to speak, because I think it's a common misconception that putting yourself out there makes you feel like you're crazy,
fragile,
or fragile.
Crazy,
No, it's just like you're just saying, I want to tell you something because this is how I feel. I'm not all that interested. You don't even need to respond. In fact, I'd prefer you really just think about it for a second.
Yeah.
And a good way to do that between now and then is remind yourself that you still have a lot to learn, because people make the mistake of being in your shoes and going, I know I like them and I haven't experienced this with before. And then from now until you see him or get a chance to tell him how you feel, a lot of people in your shoes are just going to be worried about how they feel about you.
Yeah.
And I think if you go on these FaceTime dates or whatever, and you tell yourself, all right, we'll see what I learned about this. We'll see how it goes, and be open to not liking him. Will not only allow you to learn who he is, but it will maintain a little bit of that power. And like, dating is a game. If you don't do that and you spend the next, couple weeks hoping he likes you as much as you like him, he'll feel that energy even if you don't communicate it. You will you'll ask what's wrong, or you'll always check in with him. You don't need to check in with him at all. I mean, you can if you feel compelled by it, but I would take this opportunity to just keep getting to know him.
Okay. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think that's the one thing too I found a little bit harder with having such sparse text messages, is like, it's not as easy to get to know somebody.
Yeah.
But I think your suggestion of FaceTime and just kind of getting that more one-on-one connection is going to go a long way. And it's going to probably just open my eyes more, whether it's a positive or negative thing. But I guess that's where I'm at. That's what I'm looking for, is to figure out if this is
So
a
I think the
positive thing.
text you send is random idea.
Mm-hmm.
How about what day is it? What's today?
Monday.
Oh shit.
My sweater literally
can't
says
we
what
just
day is
do
it.
like couldn't they do a Wednesday night? Like,
Sure. It doesn't have to be a weekend.
Yeah.
Even better. Like a random idea, like how about a FaceTime date tonight or this week?
Yeah. I'd say this week, and then he can get back to you with
Yeah, that's like fair, right? So leave like an open.
Yeah. How about a FaceTime date this week? See what he says.
Okay.
If he, let's say, if he's like, "What's a FaceTime date?"
Everyone knows.
I don't know. The guys are stupid.
Yeah, but they're not tech savvy.
I know.
Like
he'll probably know. I'm just trying to think of all possibilities.
Yeah.
He probably will just say, "Sounds great."
Yeah.
But like, yeah, just be like, I thought we would maybe we just like crack. Do you? I don't know,
guys have wine?
Drink? Do you drink? I don't
Does
know.
Kaitlyn need to send you some?
Love wine. Love
Okay.
your wine.
I'll send you guys wine. I'll send you a bottle and him a bottle, and you can open it at the
my
same
God.
time. And that could be, yep, I'm doing it.
Nailed it.
I
Matchmaker.
would love that. That would be so great.
Great.
Okay,
So you
well,
do that.
Yep.
Bonus.
Yep.
What a win for you. And then you could keep it open ended, like playing like stupid things like this or that, or like random conversations. Get to know each other. Be like, it's literally the same thing you do on a date, except you don't get to bang at the end.
Well,
Right?
there's
But that
FaceTime sex.
anticipation.
No, you can do that too.
Yeah.
But like,
That's underrated. Don't
I'm just.
don't knock FaceTime sex.
So knock it till you try it.
Don't knock it till you try it. But okay, I agree with everything that you're saying. And you always give really good dating advice.
Thanks.
I mean, that's why you have this podcast.
He's made
and
a
do what
living
you do.
off of
But
it.
yeah. But
Yeah.
like I always think I'm going to come in and be like, well, I think this. But no, I agree with everything that Nick said. And I feel like you're approaching it with the right mindset too. Like, I feel like that you have your own power and that you're like, if it works out, great. If it doesn't, but wait, this was what I was going to ask. How do you feel about a long distance relationship? Are you fine with that if that's what it turns into?
So that's the other thing, obviously, I've been contemplating about even this whole situation. And the first part of me was like, screw it. Like, just figure out if you like him, figure out like, when he invites you out there, how it goes and like that type of thing. But in all reality, like I'm investing my time, right, to try and have that type of end goal, as far as keeping it fun and light and that type of thing. But in reality, like, okay, what the hell will this turn into type thing? I'm open to it. I mean, I've never done it, that type of thing. I've always had people that have just lived where I live and we've just been together. One of my faults probably is that I get very caught up in people's lives. You know what I mean? I don't make my own plans because I'm focused on like our plans together, like that type of thing. I have a very driven career that I'm, just got that promotion into. So I'm really like feeding into that. I'm going on like a new health journey. So I'm making time for myself to work out and do types of things that I never have in 29 years. And so I do feel like this is one of those opportunities for me to deep dive in those other things, look forward to buying a plane ticket and seeing someone and just really just feeling it out as it goes. You know what I mean? I don't want to have this label or expectation on any of it at this point. I do want to obviously make sure that we are compatible and like each other and that type of thing. But that's the other thing I feel is like, I feel like it's almost like a very like invigorating thing. Like this could be something that really works for me because I'm not so like sucked into someone else's life and like our plans and what we're doing. It's a little more planned out, a little more structured, but I still get to be home focusing on myself and he gets to do the same as far as his career and things go too.
Yeah,
I love that.
I think long distance relationships, especially as they start off, can be
they're a blessing.
A real positive for those reasons that like it forces you to slow things down,
And
even
work
though
on
you're
yourself.
cause early on, you're like, it's hard to like, when you're excited about someone to do that. And then having all these things in your life that you're prioritizing, you, like you said, you can maintain, which only makes you more attractive to someone else. People like busy people. And listen, it's a good problem to have if you realize that you guys like each other, then someone might have to move eventually, but that'll be again a good problem.
And you're not wasting your time if you go out there and it doesn't work. Everyone always thinks that dating or like if the person isn't right, it's wasting your time. But I always think of dating like house hunting. Like you're gonna learn what you like, what you don't like, and that's okay. Like you're gonna learn so much from even if it's only 3 months.
All right, so you're gonna send him a text telling him that you want to do a FaceTime date, and just do me a favor. As a fellow overthinker, and I feel like I can see my kind. Try not to Try not to
I
think
could
about
spell
too
my own
much
brand.
whether how he feels about you, because
Okay.
you've said a couple of times. Well, I think if he says or does this, that means just fuck that.
Yeah.
It's not really a priority right now. Your
Right.
priority is how you feel about him. He'll let you know,
Mm-hmm.
through these
Mhm.
dates, and then when at the end of this weekend trip, then wake up, think about how you feel, and if you still want to give it a shot, then just tell him.
Okay. I said, hey, random thought. What if we did a FaceTime date sometime this week?
Instead of what if we did, why don't we just say, how about a
Let's
FaceTime
do-
date this week?
How about a FaceTime date this week? And I would take out the sometime. Say
This week.
Yeah.
What day is
Okay.
it? Monday.
Monday.
Yeah, how about a FaceTime date this week?
Hey, random thought. How about FaceTime date this week?
How about a FaceTime date this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're not, I can't be dropping
Grammar
these.
game,
Yeah. No. Good job.
Yeah, we're proud of you.
God, I want him to respond.
I want him to respond so bad because
Yeah, I want him
especially if
to
it's been
respond.
3 months and you haven't had a FaceTime, I'm so curious. I'm just such a FaceTimer. Like I would,
Or even a call.
Yeah.
Something.
like
I mean,
is he
we've had
shy?
very, very brief phone calls, like, but it
Oh.
hasn't been like random. It's been about like when I was going out there, he called me. He's like, "Are you here yet?" Like that type of little thing. It hasn't been while I've been at home.
Yeah,
I
we got to start
I
that.
feel like you're really good at conversation and you like to talk, which is, I'm the same. Is he like that or is he more shy?
No, he's very talkative. And that's why when he took me out those first few nights and we went to dinner and things like that, like we didn't do a lot of like getting to know like personal questions type, like 21 questions things, but it was like the conversation was flowing, like both were talking. It was very open, very light. I mean, it wasn't like moments of silence or awkwardness by any means.
Okay. Well, that's a great sign. Damn, I hate that he's not writing back. Are you in your office? Are people walking by?
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he hasn't, I don't know. I mean,
Could be
I'm
on a
not shocked,
call.
like
It's the
I
middle
said.
of the day.
Okay, fair enough. Is he on his phone a lot for work? Everyone is.
Yeah, I mean he is, but that's kind of where it comes in. He's very dedicated to his work, which is very attractive, and that's
Yeah.
a very great thing. But it definitely, when it comes to like more casual talking and things, it kind of makes it harder.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we didn't get an immediate response.
But you'll email us, hopefully, with the update.
Yeah, I'll give you when he replies, I'll give you guys an
And we
update.
want to know how like the date itself went too.
Okay.
No, still nothing, huh?
No,
I'm
not yet.
so
Not surprised
invested.
again.
My
All right.
gosh.
Well, Godspeed.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll
Thank
be
you, guys.
thinking about
All right.
you.
Keep us
Yes.
posted.
All right, I'll give you an update.
All right.
Yay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Caitlin,
Aw.
what a pleasure. Thanks for coming.
Are we done?
Wait, unless you have something you
Should we just
wanna
keep going?
give us some.
I'm just.
Tea?
I wish I had tea. I mean, I do, but I don't want to talk about it. So that doesn't
No.
help anyone.
Who do you think got the best edit in Bachelor Nation that doesn't deserve it?
Oh, me.
That's not true.
Just kidding. This is my problem. Anytime I think about people in Bachelor Nation, I blank. I'm like, I don't remember last season. I don't even remember who was on last season, the season before, who was the last season, and I start blanking on names.
Is there anything you just really want to get off your chest that if I asked the right question, you would? You know?
Yeah, no. If I had 2 more of these, I'd be like,
We know someone in the wine industry. We can make it happen.
because I have to go record my own.
I don't need a Nick got Kaitlyn drunk so she.
I'll sue you for Geico from the studio.
Yeah.
Are you insured?
I mean,
Better be.
probably.
Jesus.
Yeah. All right. Well, gotta
thank you.
Send you off.
Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. And thanks for drinking my wine with me before noon.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's great.
Thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to send in those questions at asknick@castmedia.com. Sharna and her lover, Brian Austin Green, are with us tomorrow to talk about their relationship, their love story, their co-parenting dynamics with Brian's ex.
You may know her as Megan Fox.
They were great. Really fantastic.
They were lovely.
Lovely. Really great conversation with the both of them. So you will definitely not want to miss that. All right. Bye.
All right, bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. But before you go, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any future videos, like our Mondays Ask Nick, especially if you're looking for some relationship stories and relationship advice, as well as our Wednesday interviews with your favorite celebrities and experts. See you next time.